That picture every time it gets me.
Hey everyone, and good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world, and welcome, Melissa, for the first time. Hopefully, not the last. Can you hear?
I can't hear.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, I said,
there
well,
we are.
your name is Melissa, right? I'm just
Marissa, yes.
Marissa.
Marvelous.
Well, I will mispronounce your name until you legally change it.
That's fine.
But welcome, so very, very much, and thank you. We didn't know we had a Jamie, so I got, well, I wouldn't say a better replacement, but a replacement that's almost as good as Jamie.
I'm trying to multitask. I know. I told Dave, I'm like, oh, I gotta go hop over there. I'll come back.
Yeah. Hey, Christine and Iris and Greg Haas. Liverpool football. Well.
Hi guys.
The Mythal King. What the F? Just more evidence how corrupt is. Well, let's see it first. Yeah. Why isn't this working now?
No spoilers.
Yeah, yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of John O'Keefe. So it's fitting to watch this today. Because the state... I'm not the biggest fan. Hey, Kirks, how you doing? Peter A., thank you so much for all the help. And look at his painting. It's the Northern Lights he has painted in its avatar.
Aww.
Yeah, I saw those 4 cops who was charged today. It's I don't like your state. Hey, Texas Jen, and Tracy Violet is here. Sue, you needed a break from problem. I'm not a big fan of that defense lawyer. I have to say that. Wolfram, get in the corner. Pixie, good morning to you. Buzzing for Truth, hello. How are you doing? Danny T, you just needed a little David break, and then you'll go back to him. He's like honey or crack cocaine. You can never beat the habit.
Oh my God.
Hey, Irish. See, this is one of the persons I made change their name because I can't pronounce it. And tell your boss you have something better to do. Hey, I'm Shannon. Scott McGinnis. So nice to see you. I'm very late. My daughter had a Netflix emergency.
Because a Netflix emergency?
I pay for it, and they have made that geo-lock, so it's only on your residence you can watch it. And so, of course, she called me right as I was about to go. 72 indictments for accepted bribes. That seems a lot. I'm so far behind. Bakerwood will be next to Dollywood. That's where the Corner Kiss booth will be. Hey, Richard.
Hey, Richard.
Jeannie's Creative Studio. That sounds cool. Yeah, this sees both of her phones all of a sudden. That's I really don't like your state. Hello, Sandra and Grammy There's a wolf emoji. I'm going to talk about this motion that was. Shh, no spoilers, please. I haven't watched it. See, we have Batwoman. Selena Kyle, that's Batwoman. Yeah, I've seen a few highlights. I'm gonna laugh. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Have you not
And
seen this?
No, I only seen a few highlights of it.
Oh, okay.
Scott McGinnis, thank you for being a member for 2 months. And Mindy, hello, how are you doing? Yeah, that defense lawyer is awful. And Jay Magoo. Is that the judge, Deborah? Melinda from Boston, welcome. I'm going a little bit fast so we can get to it. No, there's absolutely no corruption in Turtleboy's or Karen Reed's cases. I read Grant's Twitters and everything is fine. Hey, Puffer. And Erin Hack came over here as well. Bombshell. No, this was on Friday. If you ask me something, I missed it. I'm just running through this a little bit faster so we can go. Good afternoon, Panilla. One block from John O'Keefe. Yeah, you told us that before. It's I hope, I really hope that there will be a, let's call it a big spring cleaning in the Canton Police Department. Are you going to talk about his motion? Oh, that's why I didn't pull it up. I'll read the motion that I got. Sorry. No, this isn't from yesterday. This is from Friday. I just got it today because Peter was nice enough to get it for me. But let's get into it. And I'm going to call you Marissa. As your new on panel, if there's anything you want to opine on or anything, just say pause, and I'll make a little pause, and we can talk about it.
Got it.
I can't hear it. Is that just me?
Special Prosecutor Mello, welcome.
Didn't I share it?
Mr. Bradel, welcome.
It's really quiet.
Yeah,
It's really quiet.
super low.
I don't know if
Yeah,
I
they're
can.
saying they can't hear it.
I have it at 100%. I don't know if let's see if it picks up because I can.
Is it Kearney? Kearney. Like the honeymooners.
Because it's loud in my ear.
Yeah, it sounds like you're playing it in your house somewhere, and I don't know. We're just picking up a bit of it.
Is this better?
All right.
No.
Yes.
Wait, do that again.
Let me briefly see counsel at sidebar.
It's better.
It's better, but it's still, why is that weird?
Motions. The first motion is the Commonwealth's motion for remedial orders and sanctions. The second is the motion to strike the Commonwealth's motion for remedial orders and sanctions, and a cross motion for sanctions. And in order to show cause why Commonwealth's counsel should not be disqualified. I have read everything, so let me first ask you some factual questions. Okay. Number one, can either of you tell me what your understanding is regarding the jail rules, in particular, whether only counsel's calls, counsel being attorneys, calls are unmonitored or also paralegals and investigators?
Your Honor, my understanding, and I'll preface it by saying I have William Castillo from the jail. He's here by way of summons to address that matter. My understanding is it's only attorneys.
Okay, is that your understanding too, Attorney Bradel?
Your Honor, I didn't have any particular understanding. That's why I was depending on the jail to make the decision for me. And that's why I said who was who and let them decide.
Okay. Second question is, do you have any understanding about the jail rules regarding the length or number of calls that are not to counsel by persons being held in the jail?
I do not, Your Honor. I understand it's a privilege that can be controlled by the jail authorities.
All right. Any different view?
No, Your Honor, I don't know anything about the number of calls.
Is there any court order in this case addressing Mr. Kearney's ability to continue to put information out to the public?
Not at this time.
This is the state. I can't boost it anymore. It must be the recording that has a low sound. I boosted everything as much as I could. So I'll just keep quiet because I'm going to blow my ears out if anyone talks. Hello, Madam Ross. This is Mello. He is he's the guy who when he was asked the last time before the Supreme Court, when he would try to get Aidan's bond revoked, what rule he should use, because none of the rules he suggested could be used in that way. And he just looked at him and said, but the court has leeway. That's not how the law works. I'll try to do that, see if that works. Now I pulled down all of our sounds, so hopefully it works better. I'm sorry. I'm always unprepared, just as Mello.
You're fine. Everybody just likes hanging out. So, let's see.
Why are your mic always... Oh, it's because I have my system volume at 100%.
Yeah. That's why I'm trying not to yell in your ear.
Who is M. Jung? She's a lady who believes her name is M. Young. Maybe introduce yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
What do you do?
I'm M. Young. I hang out and chat a lot, but not lawyer related at all.
So you're just like us, amateurs.
Yeah, so you're like watching the trials, and they're just so interesting.
Yeah, the 15th is going to be interesting. Well, the 4th is the day where they're supposed to, isn't it the 4th? No, the 5th is the day where they're supposed to have the motions where the feds might be joining. So let's see what happens. We like normal people.
Is there anything about what you have?
Actually, Judge, I want to just be very careful. So there's a restraining order matter. That's a civil matter that in paragraph 14 of that matter, the order is, and I'm just paraphrasing it here, but it's just that he not disseminate confidential DCF documents or court documents, I believe it says. So there's something to that effect.
And that is not in relation to this case, but in relation to another case.
Restraining order matter out of that.
All right. So no court order in this case.
Correct.
All right. So with that sort of factual underpinning, I'll hear from you, Special Prosecutor Mello, and then I'll hear from you, Attorney Bradel.
Your Honor, I'd like to preface my remarks by saying it gives me no pleasure to be here. In my 40 years of practice, this is the first time I've ever sought sanctions against a fellow attorney.
Oh, bull crap, dude.
Your Honor, it was so egregious that it requires action by the court with respect to the defendant and with respect to the defendant's counsel. We are seeking, Judge, some limitations on the defendant's communications with the outside world from where he is now. And I understand that the jail can impose those unilaterally if it desires to do so. But we would certainly seek to limit defendant's communications to counsel and defendant's children only.
Why?
Judge, if Your Honor were to review, and I know it's virtually impossible to keep on top of it, the defendant has a number of blogs, websites, etc., where he has been actively communicating since his incarceration in the jail.
Well, that's why I asked you at the outset, Counselor, whether there was any court order preventing that particular conduct.
There is not, Judge. However, what has happened is he's communicated, and in this particular instance, as to what brings us here, through individuals, particularly Courtney Hilly and Jennifer Altman. He's communicated with them, and my understanding, as attorneys, Judge, in unmonitored phone calls. And I would like to correct one thing. We indicated in our motion, Judge, that there had been some 60 calls to Ms. Altman. That is not correct. I apologize. There have been 6 calls to Ms. Altman. My understanding also from talking to the jail authorities, over 80 calls to Ms. Healy, Courtney Healy, who was identified as a paralegal.
Right.
Neither Jennifer Altman is not an attorney. As a matter of fact, Judge, I have text messages here that were copied from the web, where Ms. Altman actually posted her text messages back and forth to Attorney Brado, where it says, I told you twice I'm not an attorney. Attorney Brado.
All right, so let me pause you again.
I don't have a copy of this.
Okay,
Sorry.
hold on a quick second. Let me pause you again. So what you are telling me is that there were communications with these 2 individuals, neither of whom were attorneys.
Correct.
And that is in violation of the jail rules.
That's correct.
Not of any court order.
Not of any court order.
And were they not identified as attorneys, there would be nothing that would prohibit Mr. Kearney from communicating with them.
But they would be monitored, Judge.
As a matter of the jail rules.
Correct. And that is a huge significance there, Judge. Obviously, I'm certain Your Honor is aware, and I'm certain Mr. Brado is aware, as to the purpose of monitoring such calls, particularly in a case such as this. We have a defendant who is now in jail for violating his terms and conditions of release for intimidating witnesses in a murder case. In this particular defendant, let me stop.
Let me try and put it in this and see if it helps.
Thank you.
Etc.
I'm gonna put it into VLC. Is it in the? Yeah, because then we can boost it a lot.
And don't boost the cough. That was awful.
Yeah, the cough. There's always a cough in court.
And it's been actually approved for this individual. And although he was incarcerated or jailed for intimidating her, he nonetheless puts her name out again. And a lot of these communications, we're not sure, we certainly can't know for certain what these unmonitored communications were. If they had been monitored, we would know. We'd be able to examine those as we are all others.
So let me make sure I understand. It's not that you believe that the Commonwealth needs to have access to the content of the communications because it would violate a court order presently in place, but because you have a suspicion that there may be some additional wrongful conduct taking place.
Yes, Your Honor, and if I may say, but for the fact that these people were on that list as identified as attorneys and paralegals, neither of which they are, we would be able to certainly monitor. The fact that they were placed on those lists raises every type of suspicion we could possibly have as to why the defendant's counsel didn't want their communications monitored. And that's That's a major concern of ours.
All right, I understand that argument.
Again, Mr. Bradley indicates he does not have copies of this. I imagine he has copies on his telephone.
Why don't you show him before you read them to me? What it is you're
I
looking
would,
at?
Your Honor. Bear with me a moment, please.
He's such a little weasel.
It's a wiener.
He is.
You don't have to read them to him, just show him the papers. Mr. Bradel can read them. I'm sorry, you can have a moment.
I do appreciate this, Judge. It's just pretty straightforward.
Is this the mark identification, please, Ron?
It can, Mr. Clerk.
What was that?
Thank you so much. All right, Attorney Mello, what is it that you want to apprise me of with respect to what's been marked A for ID?
Your Honor, going through those pages, Your Honor will note that there's discussion between Ms. Altman and Attorney Bradel. Ms. Altman specifically states that she has told him twice she is not an attorney.
All right, so all of this goes to whether or not identifying her as an attorney with respect to unmonitored calls at the jails was an oversight, was negligent, or was intentional. It all goes to Mr. Bradel's understanding.
The Commonwealth suggested was intentional, Your Honor.
Okay.
And we do so simply because of the very nature of this whole case, which is somewhat convoluted and certainly an aberration in terms of how the legal system has worked up until this matter, where you have groups of people who have come on board, if you will, to intimidate witnesses and attempt, in essence, to confound the legal system as we have here. There've already been comments.
I don't think the legal system has been confounded, Mr. Mello.
There were attempts, Your Honor.
All right. Let me ask you this. Is there any information that you're aware of that any of the communications that were public?
When the judge say,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the legal system has been hamstrung or confounded or anything, you're not on a roll. It doesn't look like you're going to win today.
Yeah.
Well, you don't really know what sanction he wants because he didn't prepare anything for this trial. But it's because two people, Jenna Altman and one other person, was registered to be able to have phone rights with Aidan.
I'm sorry, it's not.
Two people were allowed to talk to Aidan, and Mello claims that it broke the rules, and therefore there should be a person always monitoring each and every communication Aidan has with his attorney, and he should only be allowed to talk to his attorney and his family. And I think Jennifer Altman is one of the people that they believed unlawfully was allowed to talk to Aidan, and that's why. Yeah, let's see how it goes for Mr. Mello, because he brought all the evidence. We'll find out in a minute, or maybe two.
Hey, look who's here.
Yeah.
Jennifer
You're
Altman.
also an attorney, but you don't play one on the internet. Well, I'm not. He wants to accuse Braden of misconduct for an error, but then Mello turns the motion with the 60 calls where there was 3. Oh, he said 6. He amended it to 6, so at least some of that. Yeah. I'm getting my Crocs ready. I just bought my ticket to the US. Oh, yeah. No spoilers, please, for those who haven't seen it. But the internet argument is the best argument you'll ever hear.
Yep.
Exactly. This is the reason why.
Made by this defendant during the period that he has been incarcerated in the jail constitute new instances of harassment or intimidation?
We do, Your Honor.
All right, isn't that a matter for the district attorney's office and the police?
It is, Your Honor. However, matters are being presented to the grand jury. The grand jury is going to be addressed next week on this. Additionally, what our concern is, Judge, is the method in which this was done.
Thank you for showing that again.
Mr. Brattle is well aware, Judge, of the purpose for attorney phone calls. And I want to ask Your Honor to listen to the recording brought by Mr. Castile from the Sheriff's Department. He's well aware of the reason for this. That's security, Judge. That's the biggest concern that jail officials have, security both within the institution and with respect to potential victims or witnesses involving the defendant's case. Here, we have a situation, Judge, where Mr. Bradle had been told, I'm not an attorney. He may have a letter from the law office in New York that individual is not an attorney in Massachusetts either. When Mr. Bradle says someone is paralegal, we're assuming, I think it's fair for the jail officials to assume a paralegal in his firm, not someone who he thinks is a paralegal. And Courtney Healy has never had a day's worth of paralegal training, Your Honor. None. And Ms. Altman is not an attorney. But Mr. Bradle represented both of them to be so. And it is, at the very least, it's either intentional or at the very least extraordinarily unprofessional.
Actually, in Denmark, that could be illegal if you're not allowed to communicate with someone inside.
Mr. Bradle to make those representations to court officials.
All right,
without confirming them.
All right, Mr. Mello, I understand your position. As you know, the court has broad inherent powers to ensure the fair administration of justice. What I do not have is the power or the authority to sanction an attorney for what appear to be alleged violations of the rules of professional conduct. It seems to me that what you are raising is that Mr. Bradle, intentionally or not, and I will hear from you, Mr. Bradle, violated the rules of the jail, potentially. Correct? And that conduct ostensibly rises to the level of a violation of the rules of professional conduct.
I believe it does.
Okay.
But in this particular case, if I may, the court.
What I need you to focus in on is how that conduct has impacted the administration of justice. Because what you're seeking are very broad, very
it's unprecedented.
Unprecedented orders from this court, and it has to be tied to the court's authority to protect the administration of justice.
Your Honor, when the district court revoked the defendant's bail, the court did so with the full knowledge that the defendant's communications from the jail were going to be monitored. The court obviously found that there was another violation with respect to intimidation of a witness. And the court was satisfied to the degree that the court decided that the defendant should be held at the Norfolk County Jail. Again, the judge in the district court knew that there would be restrictions on the defendant's communications, that anything the defendant stated other than to an attorney, his attorneys, would be monitored. And our suggestion to Your Honor is that was part and parcel of the reason that the court ordered his bail revoked, because there would be strict controls.
Anything said on the record in that regard at the revocation hearing?
Nothing said in that regard.
Nothing in writing from the court in that regard?
Not specifically in that regard, Your Honor. However, it's part and parcel to the whole purpose of holding someone in jail, because very simply, court was aware that those restrictions would be in place.
All right.
Mr. Bradle, obviously being the exception, as the attorney of record, would certainly have direct communications with Mr. Kearney. They would be unmonitored, and that was certainly the standard practice, and counsel have no objection to that.
All right.
However, in this particular case, these people, both Ms. Altman and Ms. Healy, are well known among the, for lack of a better description, turtle rider community.
What evidence do I have of that?
It's, Judge, the evidence is all on the internet, and Mr. Bradle, and I obviously I can't bring the entire internet into you. It would be impossible. There's just so much out there. But
How do you like that argument? What's the evidence of that? It's all over the internet. I can't bring the internet into court.
He's just grasping at straws, man.
Yeah, he has
Is that-
nothing else.
Is that normally how you present evidence?
No.
I can't show you the evidence, but you can Google it. I don't know if any of you ever watched the Young Turks with what's his name, Cenk Uygur. When he's in the debate, he always says, Google it, because then he doesn't have to show evidence of anything. So if you don't know me, then you're clearly not on the internet, people. Yeah, it's how stupid must you be to say it's all over the internet? It's the same. Was it written? No, but it was inferred. No, if it's not clearly stated in a ruling, then it doesn't matter. This is yeah. It's
Like so
I
far,
love
all
it.
I've heard is they just want to. The only reason they did all this was just to get Turtleboy's calls, and now they're just mad, stomping their feet like little babies.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
and yeah, everything you read on the internet is true. I know that because I've seen a picture of Abraham Lincoln with that quote next to it, and he doesn't lie. This is the best they have in this case. This is the guy who's running the case. He was almost crying when the last time he asked a judge to event the law on the spot and was struck down. Now he's doing the same thing again. I can't really prove it, but trust me, bro, it's out there.
yeah.
It's yeah, I know. I've seen a few highlights, but we are not going to spoil it.
Mhm.
60% of statistics are made up. Yeah,
Well, yeah.
and
Yeah.
it works 100% of the time, 60% of the time. Yeah, and again, taken out of context, everything is bad on the internet, and that's what he did to get Turtleboy in prison, because back then he had a judge who didn't care about the law.
Mhm.
That's quite actually what I did. I'm standing near Portugal doing that most of the time. Yep. Yeah, if he had had the judge who threw Aidan in prison, he would have gotten this. But I'm pretty sure this judge isn't a get along to go along or go along to get along judge. So it's so stupid what they're doing right now, and the entire. I'm always saying don't trust abracadabra, especially if you have as major a case on this one. Be prepared for everything. But the state seems really dazzled in this case. They're going out and confiscating Karen's phones. They're trying to find out who talks to Aidan, and they seem. I don't know what's wrong with them, but they don't seem like their ducks are in order. It seems like everything is falling apart for the state.
Yep.
And still, don't trust abracadabra. Be sure to make the best case possible. Well, we're going to hear that in a bit. So yeah.
Evidence is usually brought into court and presented to the court.
I understand that, Your Honor, but what is common knowledge is not necessarily subject to evidence. I can tell Your Honor when the sun set today, but I have no evidence of it until the sun sets.
Then it would not be in evidence.
I understand that, but I mean,
Like what, 5-hour energy?
He should probably not be drinking. Is that a
Is
little
that what he
nervous
just took a shot of?
Yes.
Yeah,
That
he
looked like
just
that
needed a
airplane
little,
liquor bottle.
because now he I can tell you the sun sets at night, but I can't prove it. Well, you can actually do it because that's a scientific proof. So you could bring in an expert saying, because of the Earth's rotation and the sun's fixed position, it'll set at roughly that time. You can prove that. So you can bring evidence of the sun going down. You just don't want to do it. That's another thing.
Mhm.
But he could have downloaded all of those things that people, all the people who apparently did all the stuff. It's just taking screenshots. It's not that bad. We've seen it in other cases. So why not in this case? Well, you can't do that. Yeah, it's not against the rules for paralegals or investigators. Yeah. Yeah, and please, all you can have different opinions, but all be nice. Yeah. His next argument will be because I said so.
But why not, Judge? That's what I feel. That's what I feel like's coming.
Yeah, it's probably laziness.
the fact is, Attorney Bradel has actively engaged in conversations with Ms. Altman, with Ms. Healy, and he's well aware because of his involvement in this case, just as I am, that these individuals were administrators on the defendant's various blogs, YouTube pages, Facebook pages, whatever. And I think it would be disingenuous for him to say anything other than that. He's been involved, I'm going to suggest, almost on a full-time basis with this case, in this case only since he filed his notice of appearance.
All right.
And that particular man, for that particular purpose, he knew who Ms. Altman was. He knew who Ms. Healy was. There's no doubt, and he misrepresented the people who they were not.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Has this information been provided by you or anyone else from the Commonwealth to the sheriff that Ms. Altman and Ms. Healy are not attorneys?
The sheriff's office discovered that themselves, Judge.
Okay.
And they discovered that from me when I spoke to them on the phone, and I told them that.
Okay.
That is a serious mistake. I just
Okay.
wanna
And
correct
what actions, to your knowledge, has the sheriff taken with that information?
I am not certain what they're going to be doing with the judge. We're waiting for today's hearing.
Well, what are the rules of the jail regarding whether non-attorneys can have conversations with persons held at the jail that are not monitored?
They're absolutely prohibited. Those
All right.
conversations are absolutely prohibited.
All right.
Yeah, but they
Who
wanted
is here
Aidan's
from the jail?
communications
Witness
to.
field?
All right. I think I
be
need to
monitored.
understand two factual things, Attorney Bradel, before we go on, which is it the policy, rules, and procedures of the jail that only communications with attorneys are?
Yeah, Mahabiker, he had a hearing and just had his stay in prison prolonged. It took like 30 seconds or something like that, and then he was out of court again. This is against his lawyer more than against Aidan, because his lawyer apparently made a slight mistake, and the state wanted to enforce a person being present or listening in on all the conversations between Aidan and his lawyer.
Are unmonitored. And I want to know about the limitations on other communications with other persons, other than the fact that they are monitored. Length, duration. Okay? Any objection to my taking that evidence?
I don't have an objection. I just want to invite the court to keep in mind that the issue is what is my state of mind about what the rules are and what I can do and can't do, and what is disclosed and not disclosed. So,
I understand. There are also requests that I take some action vis-a-vis the jail, and so I want to understand what the rules over there are.
thank you.
Okay? Thank you, officer.
He wanted a $10,000.
Just so for the record, I had no notice that there was any witnesses being
Sanction.
brought in,
I understand, and
that
it's
there was
not.
an evidentiary hearing at all. I think that's extremely unprofessional to ambush me with bringing a witness into the jail that I may have been able to have a conversation with before this.
I appreciate that. I am going to inquire of this witness because I need that factual information. It is not an evidentiary hearing in the sense that it is going to be a full-blown inquiry, okay?
Sir, can you raise your right hand? Can you solemnly swear to answer the court in case now you're mentioning the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Sir, can you just state your name for me?
Sure, it's William Castillo.
And what is your role at the Norfolk County House of Corrections?
I'm an assistant deputy superintendent.
All right. Can you answer this question for me?
Sure.
What is the policy or rules or procedures at the jail regarding unmonitored phone calls? Are those limited only to attorneys, or does it include paralegals and/or
Yeah, it's just strictly two attorneys.
strictly attorneys?
Yes.
Okay. So if an attorney identified a paralegal and a person at the jail communicated with that paralegal, they would be monitored conversations.
They would be, yes.
All right. And what limitations are there on non-attorney phone calls at the jail in terms of duration, time, number?
Sure, so it's 30-minute telephone calls. And the time, they have tablets now, which they can make phone calls, they can e-message, they can receive videos, they can receive photos, and the tablets pretty much all day.
So all
Till
day,
10 o'clock at night,
okay, all day access to the telephone
yes,
that is monitored.
yes.
Okay. And the rule again at the jail is that only communications with attorneys are
Yes.
unmonitored.
Yes, our policy is CSD 482. I have a copy here.
No, I will take your testimony. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I don't think I'm going to permit any further inquiry because those are just the facts that I needed to understand in connection with these motions. Thank you very much. All right.
believe they
Attorney
are
Mello,
according to
anything
the
else you
rules.
want to bring to my attention?
Your Honor, I was going to ask Mr. Castillo, while he's still here, if the court would grant permission for him just to play the recording of Attorney Gradle making this call to the jail, so Your Honor could actually hear it.
You mean the one that is in your motion?
Yes.
I do not need to hear that.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. All right, anything else then?
Well, one other quick is Attorney Bradley made the comment, Judge, that he called the jail to take these people off the list. I would ask if
To me, that's
that,
a mischaracterization that I called and take people off the list. I never did any such thing, Your Honor. I don't know what he's talking about.
that is certainly my understanding of what he's.
All right, both of you take a seat. Both of you. Sir, if you could retake the stand.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did the folks at the jail learn at some point that Ms. Altman and Ms. Healy were not attorneys?
Yes,
And when did you learn that?
I would,
Or when did the jail learn that?
around January 11th.
Okay. And has the jail taken steps with respect to phone calls between Mr. Kearney and Ms. Altman and Ms. Healy
Yes, we removed them from the attorney branch.
since January 11th?
January 11th.
Okay. And how did you come to learn in particular that Ms. Altman was not an attorney?
Actually, I received a request from the Norfolk DA's office for Aidan Kearney's call detail. I sent that over, I scanned it, emailed it, sent it over. A couple hours later, I received a call from one of the troopers stating that, I may want to take a look at my attorney client privilege telephone call list in particular to inmate Kearney, or offender Kearney, I should say.
Okay.
And that's what got the ball rolling.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, Attorney Mello, anything else you want to bring to my attention in connection with your motion?
Other than, Your Honor, the fact that it was discovered by the jail, in the messages Your Honor has, I believe in that said, there is a note that Ms. Altman had told Attorney Gradle twice that she was not an attorney. Mr. Bradle asked a question. Did you tell me that before or after I called the jail? Either way, he was aware, and he never called the jail to correct it once he found out.
Okay.
So I'm going to suggest to Your Honor that that is an attempt to circumvent the authority of the court to have Mr. Kearney held in jail under the terms and conditions that the sheriff normally imposes on jailees.
All right, I appreciate that. Attorney Bradle.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. With respect to this assertion about...
I'm sorry, thank you. Thank you, officer.
Judge, with respect to this assertion about Ms. Altman, that conversation, those conversations when she told me she wasn't an attorney, we were just discussing who she was, and I was getting to know her about, and she did tell me at the time that she wasn't an attorney. However, I didn't even remember that I mentioned this call. Now that it's under a microscope, of course, it's out there. But when I spoke with Ms. Altman about those issues, I was confused about, when this was, when did we talk about that? Because I knew I would never have said that to Captain Linsky on the phone if she had told me that beforehand. So since then, I have absolutely ascertained that those conversations were weeks later that she wasn't an attorney. She did tell me that, absolutely. But I didn't even remember that I mentioned that to Captain Linsky on that voicemail weeks prior that, oh, she's an attorney, she's a paralegal. So more to the point, Judge, rather than what the jail's policy is, the issue here is what was the interactions, and all this is laid out in my affidavit, Judge, and in my motion, and that's exactly what happened. There's nothing here but an honest mistake. I was, at the time, I got 3 folks from the civil side of this thing, where Ms. Dombrowski, you have her letter there. She's working on the First Amendment aspects of this case. And the First Amendment aspects of this case were starting to arise, Your Honor. And so Mr. Kearney arranged and Ms. Dombrowski arranged that I have 3 people to help me with the First Amendment issues. And after that, Mr. Kearney got incarcerated on the bail revocation. And we had all been speaking, and they all speak with Mr. Kearney. And so I'm not 100% familiar with the rules about attorneys or paralegals or investigators or who's allowed and who's not.
Well, we all now know, only attorneys.
Yes, right. Certainly now we know. But at the time, my practice would be to just make sure my phone numbers are on the list. And you have the voicemail there that shows that I clearly stated that this one's a paralegal, this one's an attorney, and I was just mistaken about that she was an attorney. I thought she was an attorney. And just subjectively thinking, I think at the time I had it in my head that she was somehow related to a firm that's familiar to me called Altman and Altman. And I think I might have just conflated that or something, but it was just an honest mistake. And Ms. Altman and Ms. Healy and a third one, Ms. Murray, have been wonderful paralegals, some of the best paralegals I've ever worked with on this case. And, I just don't understand why or where Mr. Mello can stand up in front of the court and make a statement that Ms. Healy, for example, has never had any paralegal training. Like, are we going to really go into the issue of what the training is of these folks? I mean, Ms. Healy has taken college classes, just because we raised it. Ms. Healy's taken college classes for criminal justice, and she's amazing, and she's a terrific paralegal. In fact, I'm going to be hiring her for some of my CPCS murder cases to work as a paralegal.
Okay.
And I've actually got the ball rolling on that.
I think we're afield.
I'm sorry?
We're getting a little far afield.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to respond to the things that he raised, Your Honor.
You don't need to respond to everything that he raised.
Okay.
I've read your papers. I understand your position, which is that it was an error on your part, that it was not intentional.
It was an absolute oversight, Your Honor. And at the time, I didn't know whether the fine points of their policy, whether it meant just lawyers or paralegals and investigators. And so in that situation, you just do full disclosure. I said to them, Captain Linsky was very professional and helpful. And I said, here's the people that are on our legal team. And a previous call, I believe I said it was Mark Geppetta, our investigator, and Ms. Dombrowski, the other lead counsel on the civil issues. And then on this call that's in counsel's filing, I said very clearly, Courtney Healy, paralegal, and again, Ms. Altman, I thought just lawyer. So I was not trying to deceive or hide anyone's status from anyone. I was putting it on the jail to do whatever they were going to do. And so I received a message and that's in my affidavit, Your Honor, the next day, that everybody was on the list. And I thought that was great, and that we were going to be able to strategize and
right. I understand your position, Mr. Bradel. Attorney Mello, the first request that you have of me in your motion is that the Norfolk County Sheriffs be ordered to revoke the defendant's privilege of communicating.
Jacob, as Lady Gaga said, baby, I was born this way.
With parties other than his counsel of record. Given the testimony that I have heard today, you want to stop his ability to use the tablet or the telephone in all respects.
Other than his children.
Jen, I'm hoping there's a little mistake in the spelling.
And Attorney Bradel, yes, Your Honor.
And what power do I have to do that?
Your Honor,
order the Sheriff's Department to limit his telephone privileges entirely.
The inherent authority of the court allows that, Your Honor. The court can certainly do that, issue that restriction.
But I thought your point was those would be monitored. All communications other than with counsel of record would be monitored.
They would be, Your Honor. However, what's come out thus far has certainly been harassing to some of the individuals. As I indicated, the victim who, in the last arrest that put Mr. Kearney in the jail, just online this week indicating, this victim knows I'm innocent. And there have been a number of other elements of harassment. Mind you, this is the same defendant, Judge, that has openly acknowledged in court that he wanted the opportunity to post DCF records about this particular victim in order to humiliate him for no other purpose. So he's
but did he?
In his campaign, if you will, of harassment.
Yeah, if he stated that, that's fine. Did he? Did he?
Did he though?
Did he get you to do it, Jen? Did he get anyone else to release those papers? Again, you want her to rule so he can't do something bad because he might do something bad. But if he hasn't done it, how can she rule against it? And he's in prison now.
It's the whole argument of like, yeah, but he was gonna, so come on.
Yeah, it's the stop hitting yourself argument.
It's so stupid.
And again, as I've said before, I'll say it all the times. If he broken the law, he will have his day in court and have his punishment. I don't get all of these people who automatic hate because the rule in America is innocent until proven guilty, but they still want to say, "Oh, he did this and he did that and this." What are the evidence of that? If so far it's just Mello saying, "Well, he wanted to do that and he wanted to do that and he stated in court." Yeah, that's fine, but he didn't do it. It's that's why I don't like this prosecutor, because he's always he's arguing like a 16-year-old girl.
It's like kids fighting in the back seat. He's looking at me funny.
Yeah, it's he's never been convicted of anything, and I again, taking out of context, I said a lot of stupid stuff the year I've had my YouTube channel, but again, what are the rules he's breaking? He hasn't mentioned any rules so far, other than Bradel made a mistake. Maybe it was a mistake, maybe a little gray zone football. We don't know. We'll see what the judge rules in this case. Shh, for those of you who read the ruling. But again, Mello hasn't proven anything or said other than, "You took my toys." I don't understand it. Well, if it, if anyone goes out there and harasses them, I find it's perfectly reasonable to use the force of law. But when you see what they did to the Canton 9, just because they used, I believe, and again, I'm not an American, I'm not a legal scholar, but I believe somewhere in the end of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all of that, you have the right to free assembly and the right freedom of maybe it's the 35th or something amendment. I can't remember. But this case and all around the Karen Reed case, to me, a stupid guy on the other side of the ocean, seems so much like misuse of the government's power because someone is demonstrating. We'll just call you the police and say go down and fix it. Well, we can't. And then we called them up 30 minutes later and said, we found a rule you can use against them. In this case, they called the prison and said, we better have a look at your call logs. Then we call you back and say, you might have to look into that. How many other cases do they do that in? Is it normal standard procedure in Canton that the police calls the prison and said, can we see if John Doe has any weird calls on his list? Or is it just in the Turtleboy case?
I mean, that was my speculation, was that they're like probably mad because all these calls weren't recorded, so they aren't hearing anything they want, and then like, this is fishy. Let's dig into this a little more. Like, I guarantee they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And again, what is it he wants? He wants all of the outside noise, all the people who are not allowed to call him, taken away. Fine. The rules are the rules. Let's follow the rules. But he wants a person instated to monitor all of the calls between the defendant and his lawyer, just to make sure nothing illegal happens. And this person would absolutely not talk to anyone about that. Because he's not allowed to. Of course, he would never do that. He would never go to Tully or to Mello and say, you might go check up, go get Jen Altman's phone because she might have something. I might have heard that Jen has something. Or you might want to go to Michigan and talk to that Jamie lady because she might have some evidence on her phone. I don't know why you should do it, but you might want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I really don't like the way the state uses all of these tricks. To me, it seems like they're desperate.
Very desperate.
Yeah, and as far as I understand it, the paralegals are allowed to talk to the inmates. They just have to do it on a pre-approved line. Just mad because they don't have a case, so they try to dig up an arbitrary rule. It's bullshit. Yeah, this Volstrom, exactly 100. Yeah.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah, let's see how it works.
My favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is the problem I have with this case. And let me state this for both sides. If Aidan did something illegal, fine. If they have the law on their side when they took his electronics, fine. That's not my problem. My problem is they are trying to get everything else without having any. He can't even cite the law he wants to use against him. If he had come in here to say, according to Rule 25, subsection 3, Jen Altman should be in prison. Bradel should pay $10,000, and the law was that. Fine by me. That's the law. But when he doesn't even cite the law, and his argument is, it's on the internet. I'm not sure. I cannot, as an outsider, understand the people that hate Turtleboy for exposing corruption. I think it's more because the way he is he's a bulldog. and bulldogs rough people up sometimes. So yeah. He's in for a penny, in for a pound. Aidan was lucky when he found this attorney. Yeah, didn't he get what's the First Amendment lawyer? The big one. Ricada has him as well. I think he's in on the case as well. So he has kind of a dream team on this one. So yeah. Bradel's dishonesty is the only reason this is even a conversation. Well, we have to see when we read the ruling. Because again, there is a ruling. We have the ruling. We'll read the ruling after this. So, and I hope everyone who says, well, clearly Bradel did this and this, if the ruling doesn't state that, you'll of course all in chat say, oh, I'm sorry, I got visor. Or if the ruling is Bradel clearly broke the rules, all of the other side will say, oh, I'm sorry, clearly he broke the rules. Yeah, Mark Randazza, he is a First Amendment king. He's a good one. But again, let's watch it and then read the ruling, because then we don't have to yell at each other about who's right.
And intimidation. And the order was, original order was, that came out from the district court in Stoughton. All those cases are now crossed. The purpose of the order was to stop from directly or indirectly attempting to intimidate people. He's behind bars, Your Honor, and he's just as active as he was when he was in public.
But that's why I asked you at the outset, there is no order like that in this case now?
No.
Okay. Anything else then before I take this under advisement, Attorney Mello?
Your Honor, we do have the last, and this is an abundance of caution. I know it's unprecedented. We have teams being established.
Nima, so he will be fined the $10,000, or else you will say, I was wrong. I'm sorry.
In this matter for various telephones and electronic devices that have been taken. Obviously, Your Honor, the purpose of a team is to prevent the Commonwealth from viewing anything that would be considered to be attorney-client or otherwise prohibited to the Commonwealth that's on these devices. One of our concerns, Judge, with that respect is that we need, and this is what's unprecedented, the Commonwealth feels it needs
a
team of sorts that works in the present time. We are so concerned about Mr. Bradel's actual intentions. And the Commonwealth, I apologize, you know, the Commonwealth does not concur with Mr. Bradel's position that it was an accident or an error. Certainly, that's something that at the very least should have been confirmed. So, again, the Commonwealth does not concur that it was an accident. Nonetheless, given the fact that Mr. Bradel made such a move, if you will, to have non-attorneys listed as attorneys, we're concerned that Mr. Bradel's motives may be to play up.
No, I don't. Well, most judges I do. Not so much juries. I have more problems with juries, but that's the law. I've seen a lot of cases where people get, in my opinion, wrongfully convicted. But again, when all of this is so clear, and if the judge rules against this motion, do you? Because I bet you like the judge who sent Aidan to prison, but if you the judge who wouldn't follow Mello's argument to remove his bond the first time, I'm pretty sure you didn't like him as much, and that's the problem. Because you go into this case and say nothing can change my mind. Everyone is guilty, or Aidan is guilty, no matter what evidence is provided. I am more than willing, if they prove Aidan did all of the things he's accused of, I'll happily cover it and say, looks like Aidan was a bad boy. If he's released from prison, are you just as willing to say, I was wrong, I'm sorry, because that's the big problem with this divide in this case. A lot of people are very set on they are right. They don't want to wait for the evidence. I have said it many a time with the Kearney case. Let's see it when it goes to trial. I'm open-minded. Every defendant I see, even the worst kind of people, are innocent until proven guilty. A lot of people are like the wine moms on Law and Crime. They believe everyone is guilty until proven innocent. That's a different standard that you don't have in the American justice system. But I'm
Yeah,
happy
until
to
they're
change
up
my
there.
mind.
Yeah, until
Yeah.
it's you.
Mhm.
When
Yeah.
it's you, you're gonna be shouting from the rooftops. That's my thing too, is like with the Turtleboy stuff, everybody just hates the guy. So they just automatically are like, well, he's a, you know, a bag of dog crap, so who cares what happens to him? But it matters. You know, it isn't a crime to be an a-hole.
No,
And we haven't seen anything that proves anything yet.
no. We have a testimony, and we have his explanation, and he was found to be sent to prison. That's fine. He hasn't been in court and convicted of the stuff he is accused of yet.
To the defendant's desire for this publicity that he has, and that if attorney communications with the defendant were unmonitored, Mr. Bradle could use those communications as an opportunity for third parties to be involved, to simply engage in the same types of unmonitored conversations that the jail rules are intended to prohibit.
I don't know what you are inferring, that Mr. Bradle would put someone else on the phone?
Yes. That's a concern the commonwealth has, Judge.
All right, so you are asking me to appoint somebody to monitor all communications between the defendant and his counsel in this case?
And only report to the court, not to the commonwealth, Judge.
And under what authority do you make that request? Or is this entirely an unprecedented request?
Unprecedented.
All right. Thank you. I understand what you're asking for. Attorney Bradle?
I'm completely shocked at what
Okay, we don't need to start with,
And the idea that I'm doing something wrong is just so completely offensive to me. I can't even fathom, Your Honor.
let's focus on my power and authority to do what the Commonwealth is asking me to do.
There's no power to do that, Judge, but I just can't sit here and have counsel level these charges against me without responding. I would never do anything of the sort. I never have done anything of the sort, and there's nothing but complete, utter speculation with respect to what he's saying, that they're worried that I'm going to do something with the calls.
All right, Mr. Bradle, are you the only counsel of record for Mr. Kearney in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Does he have other counsel in connection with other pending criminal matters?
No, Your Honor.
You are his only lawyer?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to take this all under advisement, but I am going to direct you today to send a written communication to the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office indicating that you are the only attorney of record for Mr. Kearney, and then file with the court an indication that you did so. All right?
Actually, Judge, now that I say that, there may be another attorney who is on the list, Attorney Randazzo. I don't know if he made the list or not, but he's another attorney who speaks with Mr. Kearney about First Amendment matters and advises him as well.
And where is he barred?
In Massachusetts, Your Honor.
He's a Massachusetts barred attorney?
Yes.
So
I have to look into it. I don't know. I'm just trying to be absolutely careful about everything that I say.
no, I want counsel of record in his criminal matters.
Okay, just
So if Mr. Or Attorney
Mark Randazza.
If he wishes to be on that list at the Norfolk County jail, he'll have to enter an appearance in this case. So you are to communicate with the jail that you are the only attorney of record for Mr. Kearney and report to the court that you've done so, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
By the end of Monday.
Sure.
By the end of today, actually.
Okay.
Okay? All of the other requests that the Commonwealth is seeking, I will take under advisement, unless there's anything else you want me to understand.
Judge, there's quite a bit more in my motion that I want to bring before the court.
Okay?
With respect to Ms. Altman, Your Honor, I've only spoken to her a couple of times, and she was presented to me at the time as part of this team, and I let it I gave it to the jail about who was what, and what they were going to do was up to them. I'm not responsible for their jail policies. I'm responsible for my client. And I wasn't sure whether people on the team could have those calls or not. So that's why I left it to the jail. And it's all on the voicemail, and there was nothing that was hidden or deceptive about it whatsoever. And after all this came to light, Your Honor, keep in mind, I never knew anything about Ms. Altman being called. I never knew anything about anything until counsel filed this motion. And which leads me to my next point, Your Honor, that I want to ask the court to strike the pleading. The pleading absolutely does not comply with the rules, and it does not have any affidavit, and there's no swearing whatsoever to it. And it was, again, continued here in court, where counsel is making these speculative, insane, unsubstantiated allegations about me and about Mr. Kearney and everything else. Counsel likes to say what I'm aware of, Your Honor, okay? I'd like to tell the court what I'm aware of and what I'm not aware of. I had never met Ms. Altman at the time of this, of giving her name to the jail. And the conversations about when she talked to me about what she did and who she was, about her not being an attorney, were much later. And again, I did not equate those conversations with anything that I said to the jail in passing on a voicemail to Captain Linsky. So, counsel files this motion, Your Honor, and publishes all of the phone numbers, all the private cell phone numbers of myself, Ms. Healy, and Ms. Altman. And as you can see in the motion, Judge, as a result of counsel for the Commonwealth doxing all of us in this public filing, Ms. Altman receives threatening text messages that absolutely scare the heck out of her and terrorize her, Your Honor. And
so, Ms. Altman, who might be a witness in a case with Aidan, was getting scary text messages. I hope the Canton police is out rounding up those people, because that's witness intimidation. We learned that in another case.
In that respect, Your Honor, she is absolutely scared and horrified and intimidated. And I've spoken to her personally about that. And she has a copy of all my filings, Your Honor. And here we have this situation, Judge, where in the course of trying to say that I'm doing something wrong, counsel publishes these phone numbers and absolutely exposes Ms. Altman and Ms. Healy and myself to unwanted harassment. And in this case, in fact, as I published in the filing, Ms. Altman did receive that very night a number of obnoxious, threatening, harassing messages, and I published one of them for you so you can see what she was dealing with. And this is from counsel for the Commonwealth. Lawyers have obligations, Your Honor. Lawyers have obligations to not dox people, first of all, Your Honor, to not publish sensitive private information in pleadings. That was done here, and that is outrageous, and that is unprofessional.
Are you asking me to seal? I know it's out in the public realm somewhat now, but are you asking me to do anything in connection with the Commonwealth's motion?
Yes, I would ask you, whatever we can do now is to seal it for now, so that at least it's from now on it's sealed and private information is not public.
All right,
or at least that portion of it.
Any objection to that, Attorney Mello?
I would just ask that the numbers be redacted.
Well, we will impound what has been filed, and if you would provide a copy with the numbers redacted, that can go on the public docket.
Thank you.
I find good cause to do so. Attorney Bradel, anything else?
Yes, Your Honor. Judge, in this case, Your Honor,
Counsel, please.
counsel for the Commonwealth has charged Mr. Kearney with the exact same conduct, categorically, as he has done here to me, to Ms. Healy, and to Ms. Altman, with the results actually happening to Ms. Altman, unfortunately. I'm not going to go over the factual underpinnings of it, Judge. It's in my motion. But The same exact conduct is charged to Mr. Kearney, where he's alleged to have held up a piece of paper on his YouTube show with phone numbers on it, and then called phone numbers, and then mentioned phone numbers on his show. And then that was to one of the troopers on the underlying Kearney murder case. And then the charging documents indicate, Your Honor, that Mr. Proctor, the trooper involved, received threatening messages, et cetera, et cetera. And that was the basis in the Stoughton court for a charge of witness intimidation on Mr. Kearney. And here, counsel for the Commonwealth has engaged in the exact same behavior with the exact same results that Ms. Altman has received threatening messages.
And that's the basis of your request that I issue an order to show cause regarding recusal.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right.
Counsel now has a personal stake in this case because counsel's committed the exact same, categorically committed the exact same conduct that he's charging my client with. It's just, talk about unprecedented. Mr. Mello likes to talk about what's unprecedented. What's unprecedented is that the prosecutor is engaging in the same criminal conduct that Mr. Kearney is alleged to have engaged in. Counsel for the Commonwealth now has developed a personal stake in this case. Counsel for the Commonwealth is not a disinterested observer, an advocate for the Commonwealth interested in doing justice. Counsel for the Commonwealth has inserted themselves, has wrapped themselves in personally into the allegations in the case.
All right, I understand your argument.
So based on that, Judge, I think I'm not asking right this minute that he be disqualified, but I'm asking that you issue an order to show cause and set up a hearing as to why counsel for the Commonwealth should not be disqualified in this case.
Attorney Mello, how much time do you need to respond to that request?
Which one in particular, Judge?
The request that I issue an order to show cause regarding recusal.
I believe that Mr. Bradle has put 14 days in his motion. I believe you requested the maximum of 14 days. I'd ask for the 14 days, Judge. And if I may, Judge, there's a huge distinction.
Wait a minute. So you're saying you will file something in response by February 9?
Yes, please.
All right. When I receive that, I'll make a determination about whether I issue an order to show cause and whether we have an evidentiary hearing.
If I may, Your Honor, the distinction that Mr. Bradle, between the facts and what Mr. Bradle was saying, Mr. Bradle was indicating this was doxed. The reality is the telephone numbers here were absolutely relevant to this matter. This wasn't a gratuitous publication of telephone numbers of individuals. This is a publication to the court. This was a filing with the court. It was not an outside filing. It was not a press release, whatever. It's a filing with the court of the numbers that Mr. Bradle indicated were attorney numbers.
That's a lie, Your Honor. I did not indicate they were attorney numbers.
Don't interrupt. I've read what you indicated. Go ahead.
And Mr. Bradle indicated they were attorney and paralegal numbers, Your Honor. He published that to the jail. Okay, and as a matter of our motion, that was absolutely relevant and part of our motion. Had it been a different number, whatever the case may be, it would have been inconsequential in terms of the motion. Mr. Bradle made those numbers known. As part of our motion, they were very relevant. And the motion could not have flown otherwise, Judge.
All right. I appreciate everybody's arguments. I understand everybody's arguments. Let me tell you how I have endorsed what is in front of me at the moment. The Commonwealth's motion for remedial orders and sanctions has 2 endorsements.
Nima, what exactly is it that you salute Mello for? He looked flustered. He hasn't brought any evidence. He hasn't made an affidavit. Is it just because you don't like Turtleboy? Or I would really like to understand why you find the state so lovely. You should be living in Denmark because we love the state here. It's not normally what you do in America, but I would love to know why you find him so great. He didn't do the basic level of lawyering needed in this case, and he doxed 3 people, which might disqualify him from this case.
Number 1, counsel for Mr. Kearney is to inform Norfolk County Jail by the end of day today that he is the only attorney of record for Mr. Kearney at this time. and report to the court in writing by close of business Monday, January 29th, that he has done so. Second order on the motion for remedial orders and sanctions. Upon oral request for good cause, paper 4, the Commonwealth's motion, is impounded. Counsel for the Commonwealth to file a redacted copy for the public file. Mr. Bradel's cross motion is endorsed. Commonwealth to respond to cross motion on or before February 9, 2024. With respect to the Commonwealth's other requests for relief in the motion for remedial orders and sanctions, I will take those under advisement.
Thank you. We have a 2/16 date for pretrial conference too. Thank you.
No, absolutely not. But tell me why you think a guy who just did about the worst lawyering you could do is a great guy, why you love him. Because you're the other way around. Anyone who disagrees with Mello or agrees with Turtleboy hates justice or whatever. I just don't get it. This lawyer, he does a worse job than our friend Tyrone did in his pro se defense. This guy comes unprepared for every court date, every single court date. He can never tell the judge which laws he want him or her to rule on. So why do you put him on that pedestal? He's a bad lawyer. It's not that hard to see. And Bradel, yeah, he made a mistake. I'm pretty sure the judge ruled on that, saying from now on you're the only one allowed to talk to him. That's fine. There was a ruling on that. That's a mistake from his side. But the argument, it's on the internet. Is that his big Kodak moment or Matlock or whoever you watches? He doesn't bring evidence. He just wants the judge to make up the law. It doesn't matter if it's Turtleboy. Imagine it was you. Imagine you were out driving, and you get pulled over, and he claims you were doing DUI, and you say, "Well, I never did no one took a blood test or anything." Well, it doesn't matter. It's he could have been drunk. We smelled alcohol in such a high concentration. He was drunk. Put him in jail, judge. Come on, judge. Would you have the judge say, "But Mr. Mello, where's the evidence?" Or would you have the judge say, "Well, we'll just make up the law. You smelled like alcohol. It's a DUI. See you later, boy. Go to prison." I don't understand why you root for people. I understand you don't like Aidan, and you have every right to do that. But wouldn't you hope the taxpayer-paid lawyer was just a little bit better than this? I don't understand why you are all celebrating a guy with such a low skill level. I don't understand it. I would love a legal battle where he said, "Well, according to Massachusetts v. Johnson, this and this," and then Bradel had to say, "Well, according to Massachusetts v. Ronson, it's this and this." He has no laws. He has nothing. He's just standing there, say, "Please, judge, put them away." Why are you celebrating such bad lawyers? I don't get it. I'm sorry. I understand you don't like Aidan, and if Aidan is found guilty, more power to all of you. I just want to hope that all the money you pay for this DA, who just spent, I don't know how much a day in court cost, $50,000, when you put all of it together, at least he'll study up the law and make the evidence before that. I don't know why people are so blinded by hatred. Normally you're blinded by the light. I'm sorry, I got into a rant again.
Well, and then Nima said he has worked for 39 years. Oh. I can hear myself.
I just pulled it.
Sorry.
I'm
He
trying
said
to
he
pull
would
it
have
up.
been fired a long time ago if he was that bad. People have these jobs for a long time,
Yeah.
and they can still be terrible at their job. Doesn't mean you're a good lawyer because you've been working that long.
Yeah, and I believe they went through 5 or 6 lawyers before him before they had someone who would run this case. Yeah.
Yeah.
He argued well there. He has not argued well this hearing, except where he talks about the doxing. All is not well about Turtle. Again, this is not about Turtleboy. This is about a bad lawyer who brings a bad. He wants sanction on without having the law. Why can't you see that? I don't understand it. Why is it just because it's against Turtleboy he must be right? At least be objective. Sorry, I get angry sometimes.
No, be open-minded about it. Like, you don't have to. There's a lot of cases we've watched where the defendants have been, there's people that have just been awful, but I've still like look at the law and I see what is being presented and make my decision based off that, not because somebody seems like an a-hole.
Right.
Yeah,
It's just a mess. I mean, he's like butthurt about something and just throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah, and that's my big problem is if he had a case, I would cover it like I do now and say, well, Bradel, you didn't do your homework. He got one up on you there. But people are just sitting here saying, well, we hate Turtleboy, so we love this. At least if I wanted to go into war, I would have the best guy next to me. I wouldn't have the worst guy. Nah, yeah, you're right, Joe Biffle. Special Olympic prosecutor.
He's too busy eating donuts.
Oh my God.
But there was a ruling. Memorandum of Decision and Order of Commonwealth's motion of remedial orders and sanction. The Commonwealth asked the court to order the Norfolk County Sheriff Office to revoke Kearney's communication privileges with the exception of his children and counsel. Appoint an independent master to monitor all communications between Kearney and his counsel and order Kearney's counsel to pay $10,000 in monetary sanctions. The motion was not accompanied by an affidavit. That's some good lawyering right there. I heard arguments and took limited testimony, assistant deputy, blah, blah, blah. In opposition to the motion, Kearney's counsel submitted an affidavit from counsel. After hearing and review, and for the reasons stated below, the Commonwealth's motion is denied. So, come on. Mello wasted the court's time. At least give me that. Those of you who are saying, oh, it's fair. No, come on. Be open-minded. Say, Mello wasted your taxpayer money on that one.
He's lucky he even got to stand up there and state his case.
Yeah. So, it's I just don't. I really don't get why people are just jumping on the bandwagon. Wasted the court's time and some of our taxpayer money. Yeah. I've got everything, and thankfully hundreds of people to support me and help me. It's been amazing. I agree with the outcast here, and not because I hate everyone. I just hold a different opinion. That equals truth. No, Emily Suzanne. But the hearing we just saw, because now you have the ruling. You agree with me that that hearing was a waste of your taxpayer money and the court's time, right? Mello shouldn't have brought that. At least we can agree with that. I've never met Aidan. I streamed with Aidan, and as I said, the very first time I heard his name mentioned, because I've heard all the stories about him, I said if he had done what people accused him for, I would totally disavow harassing people and stuff like that, because I can do that. I can see Aidan lost his unguarded calls with Badal fake. No, no, Nima. I know I read it a little bit too fast, maybe. Just for Nima, I'll take it one more time. Commonwealth asked the court to 1. Order the Norfolk County Sheriff's Office to revoke Kearney's communication privileges with the exception of his children and counsel. Appointed an independent master to monitor all communications between Kearney and his counsel, and order Kearney's counsel to pay $10,000 in monetary sanction. And then there's this word: denied. 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 So, again, denied means denied. He was ordered to make sure that he was the only one in contact with them because there was a misunderstanding. That's correct. But all of the things they ordered them to do was denied. Denied, denied, denied. So, Nima, of course, you'll say now, yes, Mello made a boo-boo. The Commonwealth first asked me to order the Sheriff's Office to revoke Kearney's communication privileges except for communications with his children and counsel. The Commonwealth has not persuaded me that such an order is appropriate. Nima, this is again. Yeah. There is no court order prohibiting Kearney from continuing to post, blog, tweet, or otherwise publicly disseminate any information, including about the murder case he claims to be reporting on as a journalist. Persons in custody of the jail are permitted all-day access to the telephone and are not limited in their communications. All those communications are monitored. So they can't be on the unmonitored list, but they can still communicate. The jail has its own rules regarding communications, which the Commonwealth asked me to override in connection with Mr. Kearney. Second, the jail monitors Kearney's non-privileged communication. It does so for security reasons. The Commonwealth can access his jail calls and can listen to them. Thus, to the extent Kearney commits a crime while communicating from jail or encourages someone else to do so, namely by encouraging someone to intimidate, threaten, or harass a witness, or to picket or parade near a witness' residence to interfere with, impede, or obstruct the administration of justice, Kearney can be charged in connection with this conduct. Third, the basis of the instant motion is the allegation that Kearney's counsel misrepresented Jennifer Altman as an attorney in order to evade the normal monitoring process. The Commonwealth has not established or even argued that the normal monitor system at the jail is insufficient to monitor Kearney's conduct. Indeed, when asked at the hearing whether there was any evidence that Kearney committed additional crimes of witness intimidations or harassment from the jail, the Commonwealth indicated there was, and that the Commonwealth was pursuing additional indictments and or charges. So to the extent the district court's revocation of Kearney's bail was intended to ensure that his communications would be monitored during his confinement, as the Commonwealth argued at the hearing, Kearney's non-privileged communications, including with any administration of his website, will be monitored and can be the basis of evidence of additional criminal charges as appropriate. So, fine, Nima, you didn't read it, it's okay. But now you'll say, okay, you got it, Baker. I'm sorry. I'll read it the next time. But no, it wasn't a win for the state. It was a big win for Bradel because he didn't have to pay $10,000. And again, watching whatever goes on around this case, it's I don't like what the state is doing. I don't like it. Yeah, and fill the motion with lies. I hope there's evidence of those harassments ongoing from prison, because that's I haven't heard about additional charges being brought up, but they might be right on the steps. Asking for sanctions is a big deal. Last on the list of things to do against an opposing counsel. Rude. Yeah, that's another thing. They are really stepping on the boundaries of what good procedural conduct is. Yeah, and paralegals is used. I didn't read what.
Yeah. No, she was saying that's where did it go? I missed it. I'm talking about the jail taking away paralegals, Jen Altman, Courtney, Tina. Okay, well, what was there any evidence that this is what they were colluding together, doing this shady stuff? Where's the evidence of that?
And again, it was a mistake made by the prison, which Bradel, when he found out, cleared up. And
exactly.
Still, Mello brought it to court without evidence and tried to get a $10,000 fine instated. He was denied in all three of his wishes, because the judge said the system that's in place today works, because the state said they have additional charges coming up, apparently, because the state claims he keeps witness harassment going from inside the clique. Paralegal for 35 years, and I have anti-client privilege in every state, including Massachusetts. Yeah, again, I bet it's never been a problem in Canton before. And again, it seems like it's the big fishing expedition. I'm not an expert in anything, but I could read that the judge wasn't impressed. Yeah, the judge accepted it was an error. No collusion. And I'll bring in the internet the next time, because it's out there. I know the sun goes down, but I can't prove it. Yeah, I'm not going to read through all 12 of them. I'm sorry, but maybe. I no.
Oh man.
Oh, that's the yeah. But that's code for go out and harass people. That's I know. Yeah, Google rules all. Marissa, as a new person here, what do you think?
I'm like just reading through chat. I'm like, wow, I mean, people seem pretty divided here, but I think that Bradel wasn't being malicious. I think he made an honest mistake. He said it, and I think it was credible. And
I'm getting tired.
Mello's just I don't know. He seems to be digging.
And I think if it was anybody else, nobody would have, they wouldn't be doing the things that they're doing.
No, let's say, because we have the Montgomery case coming up next week. Let's say it was the Montgomery case. Have the state been just as active to get his communications? That's because he was an a-hole as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's a I would rather have him being harassed because apparently he knocked his 5-year-old daughter so in the face, so she died of it. Those people, I don't like that. But he's treated better than Aidan is. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy, keep it going. I'm just reading.
Sorry, I was trying to read chat. It's because people are just going nuts. So,
Mm-hmm.
listen, we don't have to agree on everything. We don't ever come on this channel and preach about agreeing on everything. But we like to look at the law. We like to look at the facts that are out there. And again, I don't know how many times we have to say this. Who cares how you feel about Turtleboy? I don't really have an opinion on him one way or the other. But I think what is going on in the system, the justice system, is phony and wrong. And that's what I see.
Yeah. I'm still coming to Tennessee, even if Walston treats me like that. But let's read to this. Monitor Counsel's communications. The Commonwealth next asked me to appoint a master or attorney to monitor all communications between Kearney and his counsel. The Commonwealth's proffer no law in support of this request, which it acknowledges is extraordinary and unprecedented. The Commonwealth essentially asked me to infer that Kearney's counsel will engage in criminal wrongdoing with his client under the guise of attorney-client communications because counsel misrepresented the Jen Altman as an attorney. As an initial matter, the Commonwealth conceded that J.A. and Kearney communicated only 6 times in the period between which their communications were not monitored, not 60 times stated in the motion. Thus, Kearney's counsel misrepresentation, negligent or intentional, did not result in a significant opportunity to evade monitoring. On the other hand, Kearney communicated unmonitored 80 times with CH, and the Commonwealth concedes that Kearney's counsel made no misrepresentation regarding CH's status. The voicemail message from Kearney's counsel quoted in the motion indicated that Kearney's counsel explicitly said that CH was a paralegal. Her phone calls should have been monitored according to the jail's rules. The captain's inclusion of the paralegal's telephone number on the privileged phone list, therefore, appears to have been, at the minimum, and read this part, the jail's error and not resulting of anything Kearney's counsel did. More fundamentally, the Commonwealth has not presented evidence from which I could reasonably infer that Kearney's counsel is likely to engage in wrongdoing with his client, such as the privilege shielding their communications should be invaded in advance. At bottom, the Commonwealth suspects and or believes that Kearney may use his unmonitored calls with his counsel to continue his harassment and or intimidation of witnesses. To take such an extraordinary step to evade the attorney-client privilege in such a manner, I would need far more evidence than a mere allegation, unsupported by evidence, that counsel knowingly misrepresented the status of an individual as a lawyer to enable her communications with Kearney to be unmonitored. I have before me counsel's affidavit denying that he deliberately misrepresented her status. I have no contrary admissible evidence from the Commonwealth, nor do I have any other information from which I can reasonably infer that Kearney's counsel will communicate with Kearney for purposes other than his representation of Kearney. The Commonwealth suspects that Kearney's counsel will permit third parties to participate in privileged calls with Kearney, or presumably will transmit information from Kearney to Kearney's followers. I have no information before me to establish that is likely, such that I would order their phone calls to be monitored. Further, should Kearney attempt to use the privileged communication for such a purpose, Kearney's counsel would be obligated to comply with the rules of professional conduct and potentially disclose that information to prevent a crime from occurring. The following rules of conduct prescribe and limits Kearney's counsel's participation in such conduct. Blah, 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 blah. Those are the rules. The Commonwealth handed the court printouts of text messages that appears to be between Kearney's counsel and Jen Altman, in which Jen Altman stated that she told Kearney's counsel that she's not an attorney. It is unclear from those messages when she alleged to have done so. This is all law stuff. Finally, fundamentally, I have grave concern that such monitoring, even in the monitor reporting only to the court, would generate such a chill on any communication that it would impinge on Kearney's constitutional right to counsel. In my view, absent of indication of wrongdoing by Kearney's counsel, other than the alleged misidentification of Jen Altman as an attorney, monitoring privileged communications may substantially infer with the attorney-client's relationship and substantially prejudice Kearney. Such a potential violation of a bedrock constitutional right might impair the integrity of the entire criminal proceeding. Mello, oh, Lefty, it's not the system. It's just the terrible people in the system.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lefty.
Precisely.
You'll get a white boy today because I'm out of green boys. But again, it's just the ruling. Let's thank you so much, Lefty. But let's not listen more what sanctioning Kearney's counsel. The inherent powers of a judge to sanction an attorney are not so broad as to right all wrongs. Massachusetts, blah, blah, blah. A judge's inherent sanctioning powers are limited to what's necessary to vindicate judicial authority. Quotation and citation omitted. That's not good. Here, Kearney's counsel is accused of intentionally making a false statement to the jail, which, if true, would be a violation of the rules of professional conduct. See blah, blah, blah. The court lacks the power to sanction Kearney's counsel for making a false statement to the jail unless I find the statement was intended to infer with the administration of justice, and even then only in egregious cases. See blah, blah, blah. Therefore, even assuming I were to find that Kearney's counsel deliberately lied to the jail in the circumstances presented here, the appropriate response is a report to the Board of Bar Overseers for appropriate discipline. However, Kearney's counsel filed an affidavit in this case and stated to me in open court that he did not intentionally misrepresent J.A.'s status, but that he believed she was an attorney. That averment is supported by the fact that counsel did not misrepresent CH or Mark to be attorneys, but indicated they were a paralegal and investigator, respectively. If Kearney's counsel's affidavit and statement to the court were shown to be false, I would have the power and I would exercise that power to sanction Kearney's counsel. Until such evidence is provided, I accept counsel's affidavit and statement as an officer of the court. Further, should Kearney's counsel aid or assist Kearney in criminal conduct, he undoubtedly aware he would face potential criminal liability, and even absent criminal sanctions, such conduct itself would violate the rules of professional conduct. Blah, 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 blah. Conclusion. Especially when criminal matters garner significant public attention, attorneys must vigilantly maintain the highest degree of ethics, professionalism, and propriety in their conduct in and out of court. While the Commonwealth allegations are troubling, the Commonwealth has not established that the orders it seeks are appropriate. I am confident the jail would monitor appropriately all of Kearney's communications other than with counsel. to ensure Kearney is not engaging in wrongdoing from jail. The jail now has the correct information that only one lawyer is counsel of record to Kearney, and only that lawyer's communications should be privileged and unmonitored. I am not persuaded that it is appropriate to have anyone monitor those privileged calls, and I am not persuaded I have the power to sanction Kearney's counsel for the alleged misstatements to the jail. All parties and counsel and the public should take note that the conduct which is found to interfere with the administration of justice will be addressed. Our system of justice requires a due regard for the just and efficient trial of matters before the court. Order. For the foregoing reasons, the Commonwealth's motion for remedial orders and sanctions is denied. So yeah, she didn't. Yeah, because they have the authority to do anything about it. Whew, I lost my breath there.
That's a lot of reading.
That was a lot.
Yeah, but again, it's clear that this judge isn't a fan of Mr. Mello, because he apparently didn't do as well as he could. So yeah.
Denied.
Denied. And yeah, this judge is excellent. And sorry, chat, I was reading, so if you had anything, I didn't see it.
Oh.
They're just arguing.
They're just
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Well, it's not a slam dunk. He made a mistake, and but he was man enough to admit he made a mistake. Mello, on the other side, used the age-old excuse and said, "It's out there. You just have to go look for the evidence." Well, shouldn't you find it? No, not my job. So yeah, can you summarize, please? Well, it's just that they didn't show anything that could lead her to believe she had the power to do any of the things Jamie, that's so loud. I'm just gonna mute her while she fiddles around with that. No, it's just that the judge ruled she had no power to do what they wanted because they haven't shown her why she should do it. I guess it was a distraction. Oh, I'm sorry. Steph A&E, even if you put on your notification, you might or you might not get notified. YouTube is funny that way.
I just got notified about this for like the first time in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I just don't get notifications.
No, and I get notifications when I end my stream that I'm streaming. So it's funny that way. Bradel is an excellent attorney. He's upstanding. Yeah, and he made a mistake, and he owned up to it when he found out. Iris was busy being a boss in chat. Iris is always the boss. She loves.
She's modding and cooking dinner too. So hats off to her for sure.
She loves when there's a little something going on in chat, because I don't let her ban people too often. Great job reading all of that. I did not get notified, but I was looking. Thank you so much, Suzanne, and thank you so much, Peter, for sharing it over on the Facebook page. So some people extra came in and watched it. And thank you, Peter, for giving me the links to all of this stuff. It's really, you have a really nice community, and even if I might not be as optimistic as the most of the Karen Reed crew is, you're always nice. When I say there's no abracadabra and stuff like that, I often say. But thank you so much, Suzanne, because even though you can get a little heated and a little feisty, you're also reasonable people. Because as long as we don't
that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is we don't, like you guys are all, you believe in Karen Reed and all this stuff, and we do too, but we're still very worrisome of this trial and what might come of it, because Juries are very unpredictable.
So
Regardless
unpredictable.
of how clear the evidence is, they can turn on a dime.
I'm still shocked by the treehouse jury. Like,
Yeah.
I guess
shocked
they
by-
didn't see as much as we saw. So
Yeah, true.
Well, if it's 11-1, as they said, they probably did. Yeah, the problem is the way the state is acting. I'm feeling like you, Haley. Why are they so aggressive in their tries to get him put in away for good? Again, if he had done the stuff that he's alleged to have done against the lady, I'm not a fan of doing anything. But again, I watched the hearing on Dave's channel. When I read it on my favorite journalist's Twitter page, Grant, go light up, bro. It seemed really bad, and then I heard people talking to Tom outside the courtroom, and it seemed like a different story. And then I heard the audio, and it was a way different story. Thank you so much, Suzanne. It's always nice to have, especially with all of these documents and stuff like that. Thank you so much. That was Mello and Morrissey has done doing this whole time to TV. Yeah, and that's the part I don't like, because the law should be, what's the old saying? Rather 100 guilty go free than one innocent goes to prison. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, 100 guilty. It's, yeah, better.
I feel like a lot of these prosecutors, I guess they get like this power trip or something. I mean, they do have like the burden of truth or whatever that they have to provide, but they do get like this power trip and they start believing their own abracadabra, if that's what you want to call it. It's just, they don't, I don't know. It's too much.
From what I've seen, it's they have a suspect, they make the evidence in the story fit their narrative,
Right.
and then they
It's like
present.
confirmation bias.
Yeah.
Like, it can only be this person because that's who I'm after right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
they can ruin your life in a freaking second. They can take everything away from you. You could spend your life savings trying to defend your life, and then when you get acquitted, they say, "Oh well, oopsie. I guess go go build your life again," and that's absolutely disgusting to me. And that's why I like doing this. This is why I talk about this sort of thing. This is why I want to bring light to it and have people take it seriously, because the government can ruin your life in 1 second and take everything away from you. And you could be a completely innocent person. And no, I don't. And just because somebody is convicted, I really hate that argument too. Well, a jury said so. Well, juries aren't always right. That's why we are having people exonerated every day from being in prison for years and years and years. And then they found out, oh, well, sorry, you weren't guilty.
Yeah, and that's why, as Jen, thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you guys, new subscriber, but you're great. Free Karen Reed, free Aidan. Yeah, instead of all of this, we just want, because we don't like people, we want to throw them in prison.
Yeah.
When we cover cases, yeah, of course we watch cases with our biases. Everyone does that. But when you see when I first saw the Karen Reed case, I thought this makes no sense. And then I saw the way Aidan got railroaded, and sorry, I'm going to piss some people off right now. I see it in my review.
It's all right. They're already pissed.
Commentaries sometimes. Aidan was an idiot going over to that girl that night. I'm sorry to say it. He should have listened to his lawyer when he said, "Don't go do that." Boys and girls, remember the good old rule: never put your D in crazy. And if you did put your D in crazy, never go over talking to her when you have a court case going and you know she's dirty. He messed up there. He gave the state the ammunition they needed. That was a mistake on his part, and I know people will get angry at me for saying that. But we have to call balls and strikes, and he made a mistake that day. I clearly think she was a honeypot, as Dave and I surmised after watching it. But
So clear.
a honeypot won't catch you if you don't go near it, and that's the problem. He went over there, and that was stupid. I have to say that was stupid.
Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah, and he shouldn't have done that. That was stupid, and I can see flaws in him too, and everyone should be able to see that was a stupid mistake. We all know that, but again, we guys sometimes have a little problem having enough blood for the big head.
Well, and if he was in a relationship with her, regardless of how crazy he probably thought, oh, it's cool. But yeah, you should.
Yeah.
When you're going through what he's going through, he clearly needs to walk on eggshells, and it sucks. But just until it's all over.
Yeah, and again, it's a good old rule. You catch more flies with honey than with vinegar, especially us guys, because we're stupid. Snake Devil is the abuser. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you for covering both cases fairly. I'll try to. Sometimes I do now. I have a personal opinion on people. So I hope you could live with me stating that. If he gets an extra pillow, the DA's next motion is to have Turtleboy to be wheeled into court like Hannibal Lecter. Well, he clearly misused state funds because he got more pillows than the rest of the inmates. So yeah, they'll make up a rule for that one too, and ask the judge to put him away for longer. Yeah. Thank you so much for the $5, no strays. It was a stupid mistake, but we guys be stupid. Again, I have to say, crazy is fun. You'll have a few slashed tires and a broken windshield, but they are fun until they blow up. She has done absolutely nothing. And that's the worst part, because she is collateral damage because they don't care. They hate everything going on around him. I get hate from this stream. I'll get comments talking about how bad I am. As one so nicely put it once, I'm autistic and Jamie is fat.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're just people talking on the internet.
I know.
Thank you so much, Cynthia.
Oh, was there something that was meant to go with that?
I'm not sure. I'll look in the comments.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Well, again, crazy is fun. Honeypot is a chamber pot. I think it's called something else. We agree. Yeah.
We know what he meant.
Yeah, she's like a Venus flytrap. I wonder if the lady threatened to go to his house. Maybe. She might have. But again, he did the right thing when he said, let's meet in public. He should have said, let's meet on a Starbucks and we can talk about it. We all have flaws, especially us men. We are easily duped. This is M. Jung, who is on with Baker and Jamie.
M. Jung.
M. Jung.
Yeah, I know a fake pregnancy, and especially when she said, I was called for a grand jury. And I love that Grant believes that that is 100% proof that there is a grand jury looking into the Karen Reed case, because no one else have told a little lie in this case. Vinegar is all... Well, if you're English, you like them on your chips. I don't. they will do whatever they can. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. They're that's why I'm saying he needs to be careful, because they're looking for any
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, if he gets out, he can't even crosswalk, jaywalk.
He's gonna just have to be like me and be a little house hermit. You go where you need to go and you go home. Don't do anything else.
Caroline, as we call it in Denmark. I'm sure. And again, that's the problem with us, man. We think we can reason our way out of everything. Sometimes you should just go to bed and wake up the next morning and call them up and say, "Let's talk about it." Don't go over there at 10 in the evening. Nothing good happens at 10 in the evening. Yeah, Rip John O'Keefe, a good man and an honest cop. 2 years yesterday. Hey, Sarah Adams. You don't have to be quiet.
Yeah. Chat with us.
Well, Squat Bob, that's not a discussion. That's just facts. Vinegar on fish. I don't eat much fish.
Vinegar.
Can I drop? Iris, can you help me?
Yeah, Iris did it.
Okay. So you can't reason with crazy. No, but we men will certainly try it. Especially if we think there's a chance we can get into bed with crazy. We always regret it, but we'll try it one more time, because this time it'll work.
Yeah, this time it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Yeah, R.I.P. John.
Rossman Rance, I hope you're feeling better.
I know.
She did claim pregnancy and was lying the entire time. She threatened to go to his house and take a... Wasn't that after he went into his apartment that she threatened to do that? As I said when we watched it with Dave the first time, I think meeting in the conference room was the best of a bad mistake. But going to the apartment with her, he shouldn't have done that, because then it's you against me argument, and in a domestic abuse case, it seems like women wins most of them when it's he say she said.
Yeah.
This is a great chat. Well, Peter A is in Massachusetts somewhere. Well, I don't know her. I just heard about her doing this case, so I don't know. Yeah, and the problem was he should have said, "Well, your kid is awake. We're going to talk tomorrow." But you can't. I met Diva. I know.
Whatever. Wallstorm's a lucky man.
Yeah. Yeah, he is a lucky man. Yeah, a lot of people is from Massachusetts. They're very interested in this case, and I would be too, because it's clearly a very bad case. Both of them are very bad, in my opinion. Steph A. Nee, thank you for becoming a member. I had a tete-a-tete with a girl with that name, and she called me a week later and said she was a prego.
Who?
But she didn't know at the time
what?
I was pregos.
Oh.
No, somebody called you.
We didn't do any. We kissed a bit, so so she wasn't.
Oh,
it wasn't me, because.
I learn everything.
Thank you so much. You'll go on the board
At least
as well.
she told you.
Yeah, well, her husband picked her up after. I didn't know she had a husband.
Good digging your hole.
I only got to first base, so that's I don't know what's first base. Is that kissing?
I don't really understand this thing.
No, we need a system like Dave's where you just make up stuff randomly.
Yeah, can you just like say
Suzanne
what?
gifted 5 memberships, which went to Genie's Creative Studios, Rolling Stone, FD Food Fairy. Oh, she's not here tonight. Valhalla was gifted a one, and Danny T.
Oh, Valhalla. He just got gifted one on, I think, Dave's today too. Not me.
Can I give you the meaning of sticky notepads? Well, it's because normally when you get a super chat or you get gifted memberships, you do this. Oh, thank you so much, Suzanne. It went to blah blah blah, and then you close it again, and you kind of forget it. No, you don't, because you're happy that people do it, but it's just a little extra way to appreciate all the people who contribute. So I have the blue boys are 1 to 4.99, and then it's 5 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 50, 50 to 100, and 100 and up. So I put them up there, and as you can see, when it's filled, I'll put it in a little binder, so I'll keep, the green boys have been filled too. So I keep it as a little reminder that there's so many nice people out there supporting me. Even though I don't deserve it, and it's a joy to do this for you, because you're amazing people.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, but he didn't know that at the time, did he? That's a little problem. It's impossible not to like you. Well, do you want the number of my ex-wife? She found it very easy not to like me. But thank you so much. And Jamie, you're right. She is adorable. Marissa is okay too.
Yeah, this is really important to us. We like doing this sort of stuff. We like talking about these matters and how important they are and how important it is to really look at the evidence, look at the facts.
Suzanne, I want to gift Aidan a vasectomy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm right there with Baker. We agree 100% on that. That he should have just left it alone. I mean, but I get the concept of like, you know, this person and maybe you thought you could just talk to them and reason with them. But if she was in cahoots with these other people, you know.
And Genie's Creative Studio put up a 4 Aussie super sticker of someone saying me. Yamaha, I plead the fifth. No, I probably wasn't a good guy. Let's say it was better for the kids we weren't together. Probably my fault.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, and most of us men can end up in trouble. So cast the first stone if you are free from sin. That's what I always say. You're dated crazy women. We are quite capable of anything, but it's usually a little bit of two people tanking. Yeah, because if you don't go over to the crazy ones, you don't get in trouble that often. But they sure are fun at 2 a.m. after half a bottle of tequila to call and say, "How you doing? I miss you." His new blog is out, and it sounds like he's going to be doing a big ratchet detox and stay away from these. Probably a good idea. It does take 2 to tango. Sometimes 3 if you're lucky. Well, all ladies are a little crazy in our mind. Sadly, we do sometimes. Again, that's why I have an ex-wife and 2 kids. Beautiful spies have collapsed empires. Yeah, Martha Hari, she was a honeypot too. Have I mentioned Krusty Panties? I really don't know her. I only see her mentioned. I haven't seen Karen Peters anywhere. I never
Oh, is
watched it.
that who that is? See, I don't
Yeah.
know the nicknames of everybody. That's my.
Well, I know Krusty Panties is Karen Peters, but I never watched it. I watched the. Can you remember when I called you and said I had watched that Yellow Cottage Tale and Granny?
Yeah.
When I was supposed to be sleeping, and then I lost my mind and started yelling, and I yelled for 2 hours on online because I'm not that smart. I do that sometimes when I'm a little crazy. But those people were very special. Yeah, Iris, have you found your phone? Phones need a breath. Yeah. Luckily, no, I need to get a phone service so I have data when I come to the US. But so otherwise, I could say I can't call you back. I don't have no phone.
Oh boy.
Well, according to the Bible, she was the one who made trouble in paradise. I'm not missing anything. I don't know.
Krusty Panties.
Oh, Krusty P. Yeah, I've seen her Twitter chat. Twitter. She's not that. Yeah.
Well, she was in someone's. I think she came in Dave's chat and was being really nasty for no reason. And all I got to say is, for somebody who is all about victims and the truth and all this stuff, like, I think somebody posted her, like, what's on her YouTube page, and it's like, basically she's talking about, like, I destroying people's lives and stuff, and I'm like, well, isn't that she's a hypocrite, because, like, you're really not, when you're going out there and you have that mentality on things, you really aren't doing good. You know what I mean? You're being just as vindictive as the people that you're claiming are vindictive in the opposite direction. So
yeah. And yeah, there's some looking for the truth and some for drama. Drama is way better than the truth, because I could just sit here every single night and say, Grant's an idiot, Krusty Pants is all the things. But I stick to doing when we have something, because I don't like when people are. I hate to give people false hopes and stuff like that, because people tend to believe talking heads on the internet. And as I always say, don't believe in abracadabra. Don't think that the feds will save anyone. Always be ready for trial, and then hopefully something will change. Something. I hope that jury hearing really proves something, because yeah, and I hope a lot of the people out there who feel that it's okay to fabricate lies and say stuff that
but Nima, she's not helping anybody when she's so seen red about Aidan. Like, from what I've heard about her and the things I've heard about her, is all, like, she literally has no goal in life other than just ruining this man's life and anybody that sides with him, apparently. And to me, that's not somebody that I would want to spend my time with. You know, I'd want to have a more open-minded person.
Yeah, and that's because on the opposite side, there are people too who might turn up the drama nozzle a little bit, and again, it's a lot of interaction. If you can get like 20 people in the chat yelling at you, you can drive a lot of drama, and that's good because people want to see drama. But
Mhm.
that's why I say I hope all of those people who are saying that this court. I saw all the talk on Friday. Bradel was gonna get his butt kicked, and now he was going away, and Aidan is doing this and that. Jen is that and this. They don't recognize. You never see Grant retract any of his lies. His sources say, "Yeah, my sources is going to make a Dutch oven under my pillow." Well, I'll do it under my duvet, but still, that's why I get all my sources, or else I'm just reading and seeing what's online. I could fabricate sources and sit on Twitter every day and say, well, according to my sources, because people just want to get the drama going because they have already made up their mind that Aidan is an a-hole. Karen is guilty. And whatever you say, they don't care because sources say that you can get a Lexus with a dog bite upgrade.
Well, why does she
With
got to be so laser focused on Aidan? Why don't you broaden your horizons and go out there and really fight for justice for everybody? Why is it all about taking this man down and like his victims, like taking on all of his victims? Like she feeds into all of that. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna get on a soapbox about this because I can't stand that. I can't stand that at all. Like get up, like freaking stop living your like life to just ruin someone else's. Live your life for yourself and what you truly want in life. Like this for me, we don't pick on any, we aren't in any genre because you know why? Because we see everything as a whole. Every trial we look at, every person is a person and it matters to us. We aren't over here like we're gonna just focus on this guy and this thing and just like live, die, and breathe by it. It's so ridiculous. And then to have so much hatred in your heart for somebody who you don't have to see every day. You don't even have to deal with this person. They are not a part of your life. You're making them a part of your life. And you're okay. I'm done. I digress.
No, but it's again. In this, I did a 2-hour Lego mock-up of what's in the affidavit, what the state claims happened. I didn't do anything, and I was still told I was an idiot because there was no dog bite DNA. No, there was no testing for dog bite DNA. There's no dog bite DNA. No, if you don't look for it, you don't find it. So that's very easy to. It's the same as there's no salad in my house. That's a pretty fair assumption. You can't find salad in my house, even if you look for it. But it's so stupid. If you don't swap for dog DNA, it's clear you don't find it. But they are just going around saying, "Oh, it's a fact there was no dog diet." No, there's a fact that there was never searched for any dog DNA. If those swaps ever was there, they were never returned from the laboratory. But they still keep going with the same stuff. I made 2 hours of Lego where I read all the statements around what had happened at the time. I could have done a 4 hours if I had gone back and did the 5 or 6 different Jen McCabe explanations of what had happened that night.
Mm-hmm.
They never tell me where the evidence is that proves Karen did it. Because it was a 3-point turn. No, it was a 24.6 mile per hour reversal over 24.6 miles per hour. How many feet? I can't remember it now. 60 feet reversal. No, he was never really hit by the car. It's a blunt force abrasion to his arm. Show me the evidence. It's like Jerry Maguire. Show me the money. Show me the evidence. And I don't go into that talk about there might have been some drug transactions because I haven't seen the evidence pointing to that. So I don't pull it into this case. So I try to play fair on both sides. But they never put up any evidence. They just said, my sources say.
Yeah.
My sources say it's around time to get to bed because it's almost midnight.
I just want to see people use their platform for good.
Yeah.
And I hate all the hate. So this is why I like what we do and what we've
Yeah.
been doing. So, and that's
Yeah,
all I'm
we-
worried about. I ain't worried about everybody else around the internet world.
I believe there's a dog, even though I've never seen it. Yeah, because I've seen the injuries, and to me that, and again, before I ever digged into it, I saw it on another channel where they hold it up and I said, "Oh my god, I have to go watch this because that's a dog bite. That has absolutely nothing to do with a car." And then I saw that the injuries to him was all in the face.
Mhm.
That's not normal if you're hit by a car. And could we just take that logical conclusion and agree on that? But no. We don't need to talk about that because she clearly did it, and we're just protecting her. She was drunk. Why isn't the injuries to his body there? I've been doing layman duty for 12 years. That's our jury system. I have watched from a 6-month-old kid being hit by a car up till a guy hitting another car with 130 kilometers an hour. I've seen all kinds of injuries. Believe you me, even almost pedestrian speed accidents leave more marks on the body that happened in this case. And that's why I don't think she did it the way they said. Could she have hit him? Yeah, probably, maybe, but not the way they believe or they have said so far.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Mhm.
Sorry. Have a good night, Sarah. Have a good night, all of us. You have
Yeah.
investigated suspicious death since 1993. This was not. Yeah. It's absolutely. Oh, yeah. Horse long to die in the cold.
I mean, yeah, just like think about all the little things surrounding it too that are just odd. And okay, I can't wait for them to explain this away. I mean, I hope to God, like everyone hopes, that this never goes to trial because they drop all the charges. That would be fantastic. But if it
Yeah, I
does,
did.
keep an
I
open
did.
mind.
I did see that, and again, I totally agree. I had a dog who was going blind and deaf, and I was holding a baby in my arms, and I stepped backwards, hit him, and he bit me in my calf. Looks just the same. There was not the scratches, but the rest was there.
Yeah.
FD Food Fairy, you were gifted a membership today. By who gifted it? It was Suzanne who gifted you a membership today, and you came just as we're about to shut down. Yeah, the evidence, and that's why I say I can. Let's at least discuss the facts. Prove me wrong instead of just saying, "Well, you're clearly an idiot."
Or
So,
in
yeah.
that this, like, we have to really be realistic, people. The state could charge you with anything.
Scott, it's a little hard for me to show the scars because
He's
both
not
my
wearing
calves.
pants.
Yeah, well, I am actually wearing pants. But
And you and your bare feetsies all the time.
I don't do
I
yoga.
can't.
You're gonna fall over, and
But
and you're gonna.
both my calves are tatted up, so you can't see it. I pulled a muscle.
You
I'm
just
not that
got
bad.
like 1 billion subscribers because of showing your feet.
We never wear shoes inside the house in Denmark. It's
I
bad
know.
customs.
Well, it's winter here, so I always wear little like slipper socks everywhere.
Yeah, I don't do that. I have a carpet on my floor. Jody, thank you so much for showing up, and all of you have fun. Now I have to go stretch because I ruined my abs.
Oh, we almost
Thank
had
you.
like the best clip.
I should just. I have a picture of my tats on my calf, so I don't even need to know it. I need to do it. Next trial, Adam Montgomery should start next week.
And
So,
everybody should be watching Crumblies also in the meantime, because this shit is ridiculous.
Yeah. Thank you, Mindy. Hardwood Falls and Love My Bare Feet. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, yeah. Wrong channel. Well, hopefully not.
Welcome
Hey,
anyway.
Wendy, you came in just as we're about to leave. Yeah, Montgomery will be bad.
Yeah.
We actually had a talent show making the first Danish female group back a long time ago, and one of them now has an OnlyFeed account because she used to hate her feet, but now she likes them, and it empowers her to be paid to make feed shows. Montgomery will be heartbreaking, but still, I followed the gun case and talk about. We all want justice for John O'Keefe. I really want justice for Little Harmony.
Suzanne also said that she's in New Hampshire, so let her know if you need any documents.
Oh, thank you so much.
I think before the trial starts, you should really do like a short little
deep dive. Yeah, it's half a year
recap.
since I've covered the gun case.
Yeah,
we can do that later in the week.
Yeah, because everybody's asking about it and asking what it is, and so it was a suggestion they made that you should do one. So
yeah, that's my first solo trial was the Adam Montgomery's weapon trial. But I'll probably do a deep dive into what happened in that trial. It's a very horrific case. I have covered the affidavit. We might do the affidavit one more time before the trial starts. Yeah. Look who's here, Jamie. Aww. Your boyfriend from Massachusetts.
Boy. Yes, he gets hearts. He's the man.
Michelle, if you can send it, because I forget stuff at midnight. So please, either on X or brokenbaker22@gmail. Thank you so much. Yeah, go follow Tom. You all already do. Tom is the greatest. It was right before the Harmony case came out. I hate child cases. Luckily, in my 12 years, I had one, but of course, she had the same name as my daughter. Typically, Klaus von Bülow. I know that name. He's Danish. The heck is it? Yeah, Tom, stop hunting Skinners and hack their phones. On that note, Tom, behave. The rest of you, see you later. Thank you so much for showing up. Thank you so much for the support. Tickle the like button on the way out, and we'll see you later. And thank you, Marissa, for subbing in and being Jamie 2.0. Well, Jamie is 3.0. Yeah, but see you all later. Thank you so much for showing up.
Your Honor, I apologize. What exhibit are you referring to? I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor. 100. Because it is 100% correct.
Objection, Your Honor.
You see the lawyer's face? Okay, we have to go back and
widower case.
Did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No.
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
No.
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
Probably did. Everybody has.
Wait a minute, I need this story time.
Everybody has.
Everybody has.
Everyone has slept with his mother.
If I showed you.
Oh my God.
I'm having a Jamie moment. And the way he just said it, he was just like, everyone had. Things on YouTube.
Mr. Randolph, do you?
I got that against the man.
You called him chicken shit.
That's right, you was chicken shit.